Hey, welcome to The Fix. I'm Tucker.
And I'm Travis.
And we're going to do a tool demo today. This is great fun for those of us that like tools. This is a newer tool.
Yeah.
A couple of different companies have these, but I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and I was like, did you know that this existed? And they were like, I had no idea.
I'd heard of it, and then I knew they kind of went dormant with the design for a little bit, and then here they are back.
Yeah.
So they must have improved something. So
yeah. So this is an impact gun, which if you don't know what an impact gun is, this is for driving screws in. If you have need of driving screws in anywhere, use this instead of a drill.
And typically, what does this have in it that helps you?
It's a
drive?
ratcheting drive, right? So you'll hear when you're driving screws in, as it gets harder to drive them in, it'll click very loudly.
So like an anvil, kind of like
Yeah.
a hammer, kind of
Right,
internally.
it's like same idea as a ratchet, but
Gotcha.
much louder. But it just works. Like you
Right.
can, especially if you have two boards that you're trying to pull together, you can sink a screw in and just hold it on, and it'll pull those two boards together. Like
Gotcha.
it's a great tool. And these have been around for 20, 30 years at least. What this is, and this is obviously Milwaukee's version. This is the Milwaukee M18 SURGE driver.
What they're calling it is the fluid drive.
Fluid drive.
That's the main differentiating difference. So this is probably just the regular hammer impact. This has got fluid drive.
Okay.
And it's a hydraulic powertrain, and it reduces metal on metal contact within the tool, delivering quieter operation, smoother performance, and increased durability over a standard impact.
Okay, yeah, because I have to think, like, over years and years, the metal on metal is going to break down at some point, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's going to start to get
It's going to
loose.
wear on
and-
itself.
yeah,
It's going to lose power.
Right.
You're going to get flat spots. I would imagine they're not exactly the flat surfaces. They're probably got some sort of round
Right.
in there. So that's going to just flatten off.
Yeah.
So
So the other feature that, as I understand it, is this is quieter.
which would be a boon, I think, for like a workplace.
Yep, but it does impact your hearing and stuff like
Yeah.
that when you're using this day in, day out, especially if you're right next to your head.
I was going
which
to say
happens
for
a
the
lot.
operator, I mean,
Yep.
especially if you don't wear the proper PPE, earmuffs, earplugs.
Right.
You're
Which
just listening to
90% of
that.
the guys that are using these are not going to wear ear muffs when they're using an
I
impact
would.
drive.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at some of these tools. Yeah, you might have a price increase, but what's your hearing long term?
Yeah, what are the prices on these side by side here?
So the price for the Surge is around $199
Okay.
for just the bare tool,
Yep.
and the price for the regular impact is about $179
So
for
you're
just the
talking
tool.
difference of $20.
So $20,
Okay.
not horrible, but it's still something that
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
mean,
people
that's-
would probably consider.
Yeah. All right. So talk about some of the features. They each have 3 drive modes: 1, 2, and 3, or slow, medium, fast. The impact driver actually has a 4th mode. Tell us about that a little bit.
So we were researching before this, and it's a self-tapping mode
Or sheet metal mode.
for sheet metal
right?
specifically. And that probably just does, I don't know,
So it'll actually slow it down, so you don't, if you're putting 2 pieces of sheet metal together, they're really thin. It's really easy to just strip it out.
Right.
If it overdrives it, and so the sheet metal mode will actually stop it when it senses a certain amount of impact or torque or resistance from the screw. So you
probably
don't
nice so
strip
it
it out.
doesn't catch it too.
Yeah, 'cause
you go too fast with that stuff, and it just, and then there you are,
Yeah, and
lopping
then-
off a finger or something. So
Well, and if it's thin sheet metal, you just ruin. You're trying to join those two together, and you just stripped it out, so
Right.
it didn't work, right? So that's pretty cool. It does not exist on the Surge driver. They both have LED lights, which are great, nice and bright. Other than that, they're pretty similar, right? Like, so we're gonna put some screws into wood with these, and we're gonna do it side by side.
Sweet.
There is a difference in RPM.
yes, so let's go over that real quick. There's a few differences. We got RPM on the regular impact is 3,900 RPM max.
Okay.
This one is 3,000.
So you got a difference of about 900.
A little bit of speed difference, but
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty marginal, and then all the other factors put into there. The other one is IPM, impacts per minute. This one is 4,400 IPM, and this one is 4,000.
Okay, so a difference of 400. So you do lose a little bit of speed on these.
Right, and that's probably just lost through fluid. So this is
As-
open air. This has fluid in it.
Right.
And that's probably the only thing that you're really losing out on. You don't lose out on torque or
Right.
driving ability.
So let's try this in a real world setup here. We're
Okay.
going to drive some screws, different lengths and diameters of screws into wood, and just do it literally side by side and see if we notice a difference.
Looks like you brought some wood.
All right, let's do
I
it.
myself brought some hardware.
Okay. All right. So let's be scientific about this. We have some 3-inch screws. We have some 5-inch screws, And then we have some 3-inch lags that are a little bit wider, and some 5-inch lags. So these are T25 heads, these are T30 heads. So we're going to start with the smallest one first, side by side. Get it started. All right, started.
You have it on 3. I'll switch mine to 3.
All right, we got it both on 3.
Okay.
Wendy's going to count us off.
3, 2, 1.
That didn't seem like any difference at all.
Yours went deeper though.
That could have been when I just let off the,
Possibly.
yeah.
Look good though.
Okay.
I mean,
5-inch screws. Might screw into the table, but that's all right.
we can fix it.
Gotta fix the table anyway. All right, count us off, Wendy.
3, 2, 1.
Definitely went into the table.
Oh well.
Okay. I didn't notice a difference there.
No.
Not
we
an
are
obvious difference.
I am thinking about this. We're running at the same time. So this is good for speed. Let's check and compare the loudness of them compared to each other. So
Okay.
you can run yours first, then, or do you want to do this one as the base?
Let's do that one as the base.
Okay.
So we're gonna literally put this right here. Can you see that okay? Decibel meter test, control with the impact driver. Go ahead. Ow. All right, here we go, ready? This is part of the table now. All right, so we got a difference in decibels. Honestly, other than that, I didn't really notice a difference.
Speed was fine.
Speed was fine, torque was
So-
fine. It sank the screws basically all the same.
Yeah.
Is it worth the extra $20? Like, just in your personal opinion.
I think I look at this as a longevity type of thing. So if I'm a
Okay.
construction worker day in, day out, every day,
Yeah.
that might save your hearing. Long term, I'd probably be okay spending that extra $20. That's $20 is pretty marginal comparatively.
If you are doing a lot of sheet metal work, though, that sheet metal mode could be really, really handy.
Absolutely. So this would probably be good for somebody doing siding.
Yeah,
and
so
gutter work. Probably a
yeah,
little.
siding, duct work, stuff like that could be super handy. But just something to consider when you're using this. A lot of times it is really close to your head. Something to consider. You know, I don't think this is one where one wins out over the other.
No.
But hopefully it's giving you the information that you need to make a choice on these. Is it worth the extra $20 for longevity? I think that's a really good argument. You know, the torque really didn't make a difference at all. So hopefully you guys could see that. But overall, I think it's kind of a toss-up depending on your needs and
Agreed.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for watching The Fix. This has been the M18 Surge demo. Hopefully you got some information that you needed to make a decision if you are thinking about buying one of these.
This has been The Fix. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.